This is the Vire 12 fuel pump, and if you are losing power on a 12 horsepower engine, most likely reason that it won't throttle up to where it used to. Inside the fuel pump is a rubber membrane which has two flap valves on it and a rubber diaphragm which is supposed to be flexible so that the pulses of air pressure from the crankcase can deflect this up and down. Now I have taken apart 4 fuel pumps. These are made by Bing, from 4 engines which I received in exchange, and you know, most of those engines were running at the time they were taken out and are probably gravity fed, so we don't rely on this too much. But of all 4, there's 2 which are stiff as cardboard. You can't deflect that. You can't deflect that centre bit at all. It's like a piece of rigid plastic. And that one's pretty much the same. And that one is absolutely like cardboard. So there's one here which would work. It's the older black plastic type. But the trouble with these is that material is kind of impregnated fabric, and it tends to disintegrate and leave lumps of rubber in your jets, so beware of those. And just to prove a point, there's another one here, and you'll see here the surface has actually started to degrade. You see the tips of the valves, the fabric underneath, and these are really bad news because the lumps of rubber go into your jets and block the jets, which are easy enough to clear. You can remove them without removing the spanner. I think it's a 14 and 11 millimeter ring spanner you need, but these are the ones which I sell, but they're only good for about 10 years, and the reason is they were never designed for modern unleaded fuel, and unleaded fuel is very bad on rubbers and plastics. So if you haven't got a gravity fed fuel tank, and you need the fuel to be sucked up from the fuel can like an outboard tank or something which is top fed, you need this in tip-top condition and to get maximum power in any situation really. So these are available on my site, and to change them all you need to do is to remove the pump, and there's 4 screws. You very carefully detach the paper gasket, which I don't always have in stock, so don't tear this. Soak it in petrol if the 2 are stuck together, and peel it apart with a Stanley knife, because you want to reuse this gasket. And when you put it back together, make sure that you get the bowl the correct way round so that the valves are going to work. It's possible, I think, to get this on the wrong way. So have a look at logically how the valves on the rubber fit together before you do it. If you have a jammed screw, the best way to get it apart is with a vise and a block, so your bits can sit together like this. So imagine you've got the screws in, okay, and you do the vise up just lightly, and then you will be able to get an impact driver down without this twisting, and it's going straight down on the screw. Otherwise, if you just try to use a screwdriver without a vise, you'll probably chew up the little screws here, which have to come out. And obviously when you put these parts back together, clean them up first with a Dremel. Be careful on the underside of the fuel pump. One side is not flat, they have these raised boundaries. You don't want to scrape those off, so don't use sanding paper, just use like a soft Dremel wheel or petrol and a scouring pad from the kitchen sink or something, not steel but plastic. That will clean it up nicely. And put it all together with lightly greased screws. I would suggest a little bit of High Lamar non-setting sealant, just lightly smeared over the paper gasket both sides, nothing else, or no gasket sealant at all. If you're reusing the paper gasket, you need a bit of sealant. If you've got a new one that you've made or got, you probably won't. And screw them together, blow out all the dirt with carb cleaner, so you make sure all of this is clean, and you'll be good to go through another 10 years or so. So that's the fuel pump on the Vire 12 engine, marine inboard. If you want any parts, go to the website. There it is, vireengines.com. Thank you.